Hey YouTube, Alone with Company here, and today I'm going to talk about another controversial subject, and that is when you are using your pistol, that you don't need to use your sights as often as you think you do. Now, hold on, I'll explain it. I've probably got some dumbfounded faces right now, but let's first start off with in a high stress situation. Something as simple as your bookshelf falls over because you didn't screw it into the wall and it made a really loud noise, or you're in a crowded situation and you start hearing gunshots. What's usually the first thing that people, their natural reaction when something like that happens is, eyes get big. You start, looking around for what the heck happened. Find out what it was that startled you. So now let's relate this to pistols, and we'll just use the scenario of using a pistol as a defensive carry weapon, concealed carry, open carry, anything like that. Now let's say you're in a crowded situation and you start hearing gunshots or someone starts shooting at you, and you pull out your firearm very quickly. Is it very natural to, draw out your weapon, pull it out, and squint one eye and pop off a round? Or is it more natural that you're gonna point and shoot, eyes wide, because you're scared for your life? Otherwise, why would you have pulled out your pistol and pop off a couple shots? I'm thinking this is kind of why in a lot of police shooting scenarios that there's 50, 70, 120 rounds sailed and nobody got hit, because it's a high stress situation and the cops and the bad guys are fearful for their life, so they're doing a whole lot of pointing and shooting. Not really, I mean, they might, boo, 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 and then they might, squint quick and, but they're getting return fire and whatnot. So what I've been practicing for a while now, and I've been using airsoft as part of that, as you can see from my bright orange tip, because first of all I can shoot it in my house, second of all it's extremely cheap. I've also been practicing this with my 22 a lot, my 22 pistol, and of course with my 9mm just not as much because it's more expensive, but you do have to practice it with whatever high caliber you're going to carry or that you own or use. But airsoft and using your 22s can be a nice cheap way to practice theories that you have about firearms or tactics or anything like that. So now I'll explain how you can properly, or I can't really say properly because I've been just playing around with it, but I want to share my theory with all you guys because it's been working. And that is, your natural reaction is going to be to point and shoot with both eyes open towards the target. So, and you're always going to be looking directly at the threat. So if you bring your weapon up and you're focused on the target, you have to have both eyes open for this to work. And you have both eyes focused on the target, kind of subconsciously look at your firearm, and you'll notice that you have two guns. Like if you stick your finger in front of your face, you see two fingers, same thing. You'll see two guns, and you'll notice if you have an airsoft or a 22 or just anything that you can try this with, that you can aim actually pretty darn accurately by using those two guns, and you can see both of them going up or down or side to side. And what I found works the best for me is when I bring the gun up, I bring the barrel up level with my eyes, and then pretty much have my eyes in line with where I see the barrel in the frame and the bullet shooting down. And then from that point, you just have to play around and fire a lot of rounds. That's why it's nice to have an airsoft or a 22 to get the feel for it. And not just shoot paper targets so you can see where you're high or low or anything like that. And one thing you do have to consider that I've noticed a little bit is, like, I have the light coming in from my left side, and that will play a slight not hallucination, but a weird little play on your double vision of your pistols, and just play around with it a little bit. You'll see what I'm saying, and it's just a real slight compensation if you want to get real accurate with this method. Again, you're not using any of the sights. I'm not paying attention to the back blade, front blade, none of that. It's all just staring directly at your target, and you can still pretty distinctly see your two pistols, you know, from that, I don't know what kind of illusion that effect would be called. But I've gotten, like I said, some pretty decent accuracy out of playing around with this, and I think everyone needs to start just playing around with this a little bit, because it's going to be a much more natural response than what most people are probably used to, which is shooting with your sights. Now, I'm not advocating that we all rip off our sights and throw them in the garbage. We still need them for long-range shots. You know, this method is for anything within 0 to, I've been playing out to 15 yards so far, and still getting decent accuracy to keep proceeding forward and practicing it. I think if you get real good at it, which I hope to pretty soon in the near future, you know, the more I practice, the better I'll get. And you could easily still hit minute of man at 25 yards. So to me, that's pretty impressive to pull that off with no sights. And I'll give you a demonstration here. I'll set up a target. The longest I have across my house is 21 feet. So I will blast off a clip out of the KWA Mark IV here, and I'll do one clip with sights and one clip with no sights. And the whole point of this exercise is which one you can wrap off the clip the quickest, but also be accurate enough in all your shots. Obviously, I'm going to be more accurate with my pistol sights, but can I pretty much do the same hits in less time more naturally? So I'll go ahead and set up the targets, and you guys can decide for yourself. Thanks for watching. Alright, I'll do the first one with sights. You guys can decide for yourself. So I'll just say beep, and then just time in between pretty much the draw to the first shot, and then the group size. That'll be the determining factor. Beep. Alright. However long that was. Now I'll reset, and we'll do it again with no sights. Alright guys, this will be with no sights, as with the technique that I described before. Hopefully it will be quicker and still yield a good group. We'll see. Beep! Alright, go grab the targets and you guys can decide. Alright guys, back for the conclusion. Now, I did not practice this at all. I swear on Boy Scouts honor. I actually haven't shot anything for, well, I haven't shot live firearms for a couple weeks now since the last IDPA, and I haven't shot this gun for at least half a week. So it's been, you know, 3-4 days. Excuse me. And this is what I got with using my sights at 21 feet. Pretty good group. Obviously, you know, it could be tightened up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But not bad. It's okay. You know, it'll do. Now, which way did this go? This way. This is my group with no sights whatsoever. I did not use my sights at all for these shots. And a lot of people would be dumbfounded if you told them that I shot this target without using my sights. But it's possible. Now, yeah, okay, I've got 3 flyers, but again, you know, I didn't practice this at all. I could have made my video look really cool and done the second one really fast and, you know, really made my point. But whatever. Just play around with it. You'll see that, you know, I'm onto something here, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's thought of this or whatever. But here, as comparison, sights, no sights. Hopefully you guys can see those holes. You know, that's pretty good. You could just say, oh, well, you know, I was a little bit off on this one, you know. But the reason I've been really practicing this is because I've noticed that to draw your weapon and to focus and pick up your sight picture and blast that round off, it's going to take you between a half second to 2 seconds or more longer to do that than the technique of point and shoot in the way that I'm describing. And in a high stress life and death situation, that can mean you're dead or you're alive. In IDPA, it can mean a win or a loss, you know. And something I don't think I mentioned before, something you have to do with this technique is that when you bring the pistol up and you're looking and you're focusing on the two, your line of sight has to be down the middle of both of those pistols. It can't be, you know, on the right side or the left side. You know, don't do like double vision dominant, whatever. Just, you have to look down between both of your double pistols when your gun is in front of you. And like I said, keep your eyes level in between those two guns where you believe the barrel is exactly in relationship to your frame. And play around with this, guys, because like I said, I've been having some pretty decent accuracy with it, or some pretty good luck with it, you know. Sights, no sights, I don't know. You guys, please feel free to comment on it or send a video response with your results. I'd love to see what you guys can do with it. So keep on rocking, and I'll see you guys soon. Oh, hey man, those groups suck. I can shoot way better than that, blah blah blah. Yeah? Dead is dead.